Well, today I wanted to revisit meal planning because there's been such great feedback on this worksheet, and I know most of us do not have an hour to meal plan each week, but we do have 5 minutes. And you've all been confirming that I'm not the only one who can meal plan in 5 minutes, that you can do it too. You've adapted this worksheet to fit your needs. So today let's talk about a few tips for success for meal planning so that you eat at home more and eat out less. Well, hi, I'm Dawn from The Minimal Mom, and basically our goal is just to make mom life simpler. Whether your kids are still in the house or not, or if you don't even have kids yet, these tactics seem to actually work for everybody. And so, for our family, we've found that just by highly reducing the number of physical items that we have in our house, it's just made our life a lot more simple and a lot more enjoyable. And so meal planning is actually no different. And so I have a whole video that talks more in depth about my meal planning system, the worksheet that you can download for free. But today I wanted to share kind of some of the feedback that you all have been offering and some tips for success if you haven't quite gotten here yet. And so actually I have heard a couple comments of people that say, I haven't even tried it yet because every time I try something like this, it doesn't work. And so been there, done that, totally understand that. Every time it'd be like on Pinterest or Facebook and, a new meal planning system popped up that claimed that, it was the easiest, simplest, I would meal plan every week, I would try it, but it was still never something that I stuck to. And so then I just came up with this because I had found that every area of my life worked better when it was highly simplified. So I figured that the same thing would just apply to meal planning. And it did. So that's really cool. So today let's talk about a few tips for success, whether you've started implementing a meal planning system, whether you have your own system that you just want to adapt to make it work better for you. What are a few tips so that you succeed? So number one, I think one of the biggest things I'm learning is I've just needed to highly reduce my grocery inventory in our house, because what would happen in the past is I would go grocery shopping and I would come home and the fridge would be packed, the cupboards would be packed, and everyone's like, oh cool, we have food. But the problem is that then when I would go to make a meal, it was actually really overwhelming looking in this fridge full and the cabinets full. I knew there was stuff that I had to make meals, right? I pretty much was getting the same stuff every time I went shopping, but it was just really overwhelming. And the worst part was we were wasting a lot of food, right? I would just always find stuff in the back of the fridge that hadn't gotten eaten. And so what I found is that by highly reducing the number of groceries that I buy each week, that really by the time, like by day 6, when it's like we're gonna get groceries again the next day, like our fridge is super empty. Our cupboards are super empty. Like everybody in the house knows that it's grocery shopping day the next day, right? But what's so cool about that is we're using up every week, we're using up all of this stuff that we're getting, and I can feel confident doing that because I know I have a really simple system that the next day we'll get groceries again and we'll just start over. But it has been such a load off my mind to have less grocery inventory to manage. And I've really found for us, for our family of 6, again, our kids are still kind of young, but grocery shopping once a week just seems to be the best fit for us right now. I know some of you've adapted it to 2 weeks or even a month at a time. And if that works well for you and if that's not overwhelming to you, then that's awesome. You have to do what's best for your family. It depends how close you live to the grocery stores or how many different stores you go to. So do what's best for your family, but I found that a week is perfect for us, and many of you have said the same thing as well. All right, tip number 2 is to do a 30-day challenge. So our brains are wired such that they are always going to default to the simplest, easiest solution. So if we've been in the habit of eating out a lot, then when it's 5 o'clock, you just picked up the kids from their activities or from daycare, and your choice is to go to McDonald's or to go home and cook a meal, our brain is just going to justify going to McDonald's or a fast food place. And so we have to retrain that. But the good news is that you can actually retrain your brain really quickly. You will be pleasantly surprised at how little time it takes. So if you've been in the habit of eating out quite a few times a week, I say still give yourself 1 or 2 times. You know your schedule and when it's just not practical to get something made at home. But then challenge yourself for the next 30 days that all the other times you are going to cook at home. And honestly, that's why I've said this before, but that's why I have the really quick meals on here, yes, there were still days where I was just cooking corn dogs at home or chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese. But the point was I was cooking at home. And so that got me cooking at home more, knowing that I had these quick options. But then from there, I started introducing healthier options. So the best way to reprogram our brain is just to stick to this 30 days where you commit, I am gonna cook at home, except for those times we allow ourselves to go out, and you will be amazed that by the end of the month that you'll have reset, but your kids will too. I mean, I remember every time we'd get in the car, our 5-year-old would be like, can we go to McDonald's? We're having lunch at McDonald's, right? We're gonna get dinner at McDonald's. Doesn't make you feel like a very good parent, that's for sure. But now they've reset their brains as well that nope, we're gonna cook at home. We get fast food once a week. So we still get it one time, but now the majority of our meals are cooked at home, and it is helping our budget a lot, but we're eating healthier as well. Okay, and then my third tip is that if you're like most of us, you probably have super random foods in the back of your cabinets, in your pantry, in your fridge. I mean, there was one time I was trying to get kidney beans for chili, and it ended up, I don't remember what they were, some other random weird bean. And so it was just sitting in the back of my cabinet. I knew I was never going to use those foods, so I finally just had to donate them and part ways before they expired. So most likely you have some random foods in your cabinets. So what I did in the beginning was I decided which ones I was just going to donate, cut my losses, move on, I was never going to use, or that had expired. And then the ones that I did want to use up, they might not fit into my new meal plan, but I still wanted to use them up because I'd bought them. I put in one cabinet on one shelf, and then when I was doing my meal planning, I would try to incorporate a couple of those ingredients in just until they were used up. They weren't something that were going to become weekly staples, but I wanted to use them up, whether they're like pasta mixes or different canned items or different things like that. I just put them in one spot in my cupboard, so I knew when I was meal planning, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at these, I'm going to pick out a couple that I'm going to use up this week, the rest I'm not going to worry about, and then I'll keep working on that the next week. I mean, same with things in your freezer, we all know how that goes. So I just started trying to use a couple things each week. I didn't try to the whole week try and cook everything weird that we had because I knew that would make it more difficult to stick to. But by just picking a couple things each week, it wasn't hard at all to start to use those things up. And then once I got through that, I just started having my really standard inventory, because again, one of the principles of this is to simplify how many meals that are on your menu that you would make in any given month. And so by simplifying the number of meals we make, it makes our grocery inventory very consistent. So now, I mean, I'm getting the same exact groceries pretty much every week. And so I always know what's in my cupboards and what's in my fridge. And that makes it very easy when I get home after a long day and I don't feel like cooking it, right? I know I have everything I need. I can look at the meals that I have to choose from, and I can just pick something to make, and it's not a big deal. And now, like many of you said, it doesn't mean that we don't try new recipes, or if, maybe, especially if there's meat on special, I might, grab it and rotate that in. But if meal planning has been something that you've been struggling to stick with, let's try highly simplifying it for a few weeks or a month. Get back in the habit of grocery shopping regularly and cooking at home, and then from there, start to get more creative with your meals or change them out seasonally or try different things. And so I hope this helps. Thank you to everyone who has offered kind words. So many of you have adapted this sheet to fit you. You've changed the top to be in the order of your grocery store, and some of you said you just deleted out all the items and then you write in what you need. And so it's definitely meant for you to customize it to yourself. But I do hope you'll find, many have said that they used to spend an hour or more meal planning each week, and now they can do it in 5 minutes. And so I hope that that's your experience as well, and it does help you to cook at home more and eat out less. I'll leave the link below to that free printable, and I'd love to know if you have any questions about it, so you can leave those down below. Also, be sure to check out our other videos on Instant Pot and chicken meals. We have more coming in this series on cooking at home more, so be sure to subscribe so that you're notified when those new videos are released. And I do hope that if meal planning's been a pain point for you, I hope you'll give this a try, even if you've had that experience in the past of, oh, I never stick to it, it never works. I think this is definitely something that you could stick to. Get other people in your house involved. I love the comment too that said you let your kids highlight some of the meals or pick out some of the meals. And some of you have said too that this has got your spouse or other people in your household excited about meal planning and grocery shopping too, or it's super easy to send your spouse to the grocery store now with this list because they have a clear guide of what it is they need to get. So I hope that's your experience as well. Thank you so much for watching. A thumbs up is the best compliment that you can give us, and I look forward to visiting with you again really soon.